Wrestling with wrestling's past and present.
Trucive thought was like, eat the paintball. So I just took a bite out of it in the middle of the class. And I had like orange and blue paint dripping down my lip.
Teacher was like, he's crazy. He just ate paint. We better do it today. So I don't even have to tell her. Mom, Tim's make fun of me.
Mondo.
Mondo Burger. Welcome to Good Burger. Welcome to Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Just went to further the cheap pop. Mick Foley still owes Tim $10.
Just the definition of blue balls and gaga. It's like
that should be a t-shirt. Blue balls and gaga.
I was waiting for him to say his name. I'm like,
totally forgot to say it.
You give this fucking guy 1 week off, and you add 2 words to the intro. And Tim's like, I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. We've been doing the intro for 200 fucking episodes the same way.
That was the most asinine shit that I've ever seen. Like, it just like, that was a storyline. A man ate his dog.
Oh, they're huge.
I'm titillated.
Make sure you talk about his calf muscle being bulging and his arm muscle.
Like, reason to come here and listen to ourselves talk.
Absolutely,
and then you can listen to us too.
Strap on and balls only on Wrestling Past and Present.
This is Gangrel, the Vampire Ward, and you're listening to Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
This is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present. I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Pulis.
And it's all about me, and I'm Mongo.
It is all about Mongo today.
And we decided we're not going to cover the WWE show we were supposed to cover. We're just going to talk about Mongo for half hour, 45 minutes. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, thankfully, Emily's a loyal listener, so if you roast me enough, she'll probably just say, I burned him harder than that one. Try harder.
Yeah, the difference is she has to put up with you, way more than we do. So
that's true.
I know. So yeah, we have the multiple loyal listeners now, including, Emily's thank you. Obviously, hi Linda, you get an early shout out this episode too.
Yeah, my mom said hi to you guys, so yeah.
Hi Linda.
And Augie, if you still listen, how you doing? I'm guessing probably
I don't think
not.
he listens. No.
I was trying to be nice, but hey, I remembered your dad's name. I think that's
that's pretty good.
Hey, his dad's coming out of bowling retirement, so
he is.
He's gonna have to come in, and not only coming out of retirement, but he's gonna be bowling 2 nights a week, whether he knows it or not yet.
Yeah, his arm's gonna fall off probably.
Only if bowling was like golf, I'd be a friggin' pro.
Well, anyways, besides Mongo, we're going to be talking about SummerSlam 2005 today. Hard to believe, 17 years ago that show took place.
Insane.
Yeah, crazy. This took place in Washington, D.C., which is kind of ironic. I think Raw was just there. Was it Raw or SmackDown? I think it was Raw that was there this past week.
Yeah, one of them was.
Yeah, so this is one of the big pay-per-views, obviously. So we'll get right into it. The match on Sunday Night Heat was Chris Masters getting a win over the Hurricane with Rosie and Super Stacy in under 2 minutes here. I'm sure the match wasn't the greatest. I mean, I guess it would be a way to get the crowd going because the Hurricane and Rosie were, pretty over. But I don't know, make fun of me if you will, but low key, I was kind of a fan of all these guys here. Like even Chris Masters, I kind of liked his gimmick. I thought his in-ring work was decent. I thought he might have been a little underrated and I think they could have given him like a decent title run. I'm not sure if he won like the Intercontinental or US title, but I think he was probably that caliber of a talent. And then Hurricane and Rosie, a really entertaining tag team. The comedic gold. So low-key kind of a fan of these guys. Roland's on mute again.
Damn. Hey, first time in a while. But
I know.
We're also recording on a different day thanks to somebody.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Thanks to me.
Yep.
Thanks to It's All About
Hey,
Mom.
I'm just like CM Punk. I like to go off script.
Hey, well. Sometimes you got to throw pipe bombs and makes Moxley duck at him and stuff.
And say it's under time.
While we're on that subject just for a second, I like how Moxley tried, and I say try in parentheses, he tried to like keep up on the mic with Punk, but like you easily saw how like stumble fucky he is when it comes to like trying to keep up with anybody on the mic. And I will say, the stuff that Punk comes up with, whether he thinks of it ahead of time, a lot of it's off the cuff, I think. And to be honest, the whole third best Kingston or third best Eddie, second best Kingston, Moxley being the third best guy in his group, and that's like a theme for him for his career. And it's like, Jesus, it's like, wow, this is good. And you can say what you want about Punk, you can love him, hate him, whatever. On the mic, I don't think you're gonna have anybody that can beat him or challenge him. And if they do, I mean, you're thinking maybe Cena at one point could probably keep up with him.
Triple H did a good job back in the day.
I mean, other than that, I mean, there ain't very many. I mean, The Rock maybe back in his prime, obviously not.
MJF.
Yeah, and there's very few, though. Like, if you think of the last 15, 20, 30 years, handful of guys that can keep up with Punk on the mic. And, getting back to the SummerSlam that we were covering here, what I was trying to say before I was on mute and couldn't say it. I could say it, but nobody would hear it. Was that these guys were all characters. That's what this is about. It wasn't about winning or losing. It was about the fans having a good time, them having a good time with their characters, and I assume that's what happened for this match.
I used to love it when he was a superhero in training and the shirt just said shit. Like, we joked off air about how many times AEW says shit. But I think it's funny that he legit had that shirt. Like, that was great when WWE used to do those little funny jokes like that. Like this T-shirt that was a double entendre or a catchphrase or something like the Rock's strudel jokes, things like that. Like as you get older, you're like, that was funnier than I thought as a kid. So it pops you. And like you both said, they were a fun tag team. They were great together. And who didn't freaking get a pop when he would try to choke slam someone that was clearly 4 times his size, and they would just look at him like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You ain't choke." And he was just out like, "Just kidding." And like he knew his limits. And I agree with you though, Tim. Chris Masters severely underrated. I've seen some clips of him in NWA. He's out there right now, and he was their U.S. champion for a while, and he was doing pretty well. And rumors are that Triple H might bring him up to be a coach or a agent, which. That would be cool because, like you said, he had really good in-ring work, and his gimmick was actually not bad. He was that cocky heel. Remember at Backlash, he had that guy front row rolling? Yeah. That tried to go in, and he just ragdolled, obviously the random extra, and the guy's wallet, flew out of his back pocket.
You think of iconic moments like that, too, and, you have you think of the one where Austin, the fan came into the ring, and Triple H just shit whips the guy in the middle of the match. You think it's stuff like that. It's never a good idea for a fan to get involved in any aspect. I mean, look at what happened on Dynamite with the fans in the front row when they had Kenny Omega on the barricade. Those guys got drilled.
Oh yeah, it's a little teenage boy looked like too.
Yeah, they got drilled.
The one incident that comes to my mind too is the Bret Hart situation at the Hall of Fame. When FTR just pummeled the guy.
Yeah, Dax just took him down.
Yeah.
Or even not recently, but Eddie Guerrero, that famous ladder match where the guy comes in and pushes him off the ladder and he lands on his feet and he's just ready to kill him. He's just ready to take him out. What kind of stupid ass fan? I'm gonna go right in there, get in the action. I've seen referees, remember Hebner used to kick people in the ribs when they were getting all the way.
Well, and what in anybody's mind makes them think that you know what, I can kick that guy's ass? It's how many beers have you had? Bad idea, terrible idea.
Or the idiots who run across the baseball fields or the NFL fields. You're like, are you kidding me? I mean, I remember one of the last times I went to Fenway, some guy got drunk and probably got midfield, and one of the security guards, hardest tackle I've ever seen. Probably should have signed him up for the Pats that year. Freaking just leveled the guy, and they had to legit drag him because he was unconscious. And it's well, you deserved a concussion. You freaking ran out there.
Yeah.
They don't know if you're going to attack a player.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Because everybody's oh, it's all innocent. Same thing with wrestling. Oh, it's innocent. No, it's not, because they don't know if you're coming to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but the second you cross that barricade, game on. I don't care if Corey Graves drop kicks you your teeth in.
Yep.
I'll sit in there and clap. When I go to GCW, well, it'll be yesterday as of this recording. I'm front row. Hopefully I don't get my friggin' teeth kicked in.
Manga's gonna go to GCW yesterday.
I am, because technically it's tomorrow because we're recording Thursday. That's why we're recording. That's why we jokingly said the show is about me. But
Well, it is. When else have we recorded on a Thursday?
Yeah, it's always
I appreciate
the whole show
it.
centers around
I'm
you.
not saying you don't. I'm just saying this is uncharted territory.
Unfortunately, I'm getting a little bit more weight than I want to, so a lot of things kind of gravitate around me right now. I feel like everything's in orbit around me.
You got a lot of pull. Got a lot of
No,
pull.
I'm just kidding. Thankfully, I have been doing my DDP yoga again, so that's been helping out. So, and they followed us on social media, so I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
pretty
shout out
cool.
to DDP Yoga. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
thank you for all you know to wrestlers too. Sorry I derail the show again.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like we're going to go through this show pretty quickly. So, like, it's not the end of the world if we kind of go off track a little bit.
Well, speaking of quick, that kind of describes the opening match on the main card. Chris Benoit is going to defeat Orlando Jordan for the U.S. Title in 25 seconds. Not much of a match here. Quick German suplex, triple crossface. And Jordan taps out. You see this sometimes. They'll open a match with a quick title change. I know at WrestleMania, I believe they did it with Sheamus and Dan O'Brien one year. So sometimes they do, I think, for more shock value, get the crowd going and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if the show was timed long, if that's why they did it, or they just did it for the crowd reaction. Kind of glad I kept it short. I mean, Orlando Jordan really wasn't anything that I really cared about seeing. So I'm glad they kind of kept this one short.
Yeah, going into it, this is one of those matches that I didn't really have high hopes for, and then it happened in 25 seconds. And I'm like, oh, that was pretty good. So, I mean, it wasn't, obviously a 5-star classic in the Tokyo Dome, but it served a purpose. Like Tim said, it obviously got the fans going because I don't think anybody expected it to happen like that. And they pretty much went with the fact that Benoit kind of got pissed off. Jordan kind of jumped him real quick, and it kind of, it was in the corner when he kind of cheap shotted him, and it flipped the switch for Benoit, where Benoit pretty much ended it in probably 15 seconds after that. There wasn't, it was 25 seconds altogether, but
yeah, the entrance was longer.
Yeah. And there wasn't, like I said, there wasn't really any wrestling. There was, like Tim said, there was 2 moves essentially, and that was it.
Yeah, and I think it was something to do with like he lost the belt and they were giving it back to him quickly. I remember there was a weird reason why it happened, but like you both said, it was just for the cheap holy crap the title change, but it did nothing. And I just think it's funny because Carlito was supposed to be on this show too. He didn't get a match, and he was the freaking Intercontinental Champion at the time. He was like the hot heel then. This is when he was. Remember, he was going around like legit spitting people. Like he would go to the t-shirt vendor and spit in their face. Like he was legit going on everyone.
Couldn't do that now with COVID going around.
Nope.
Right? Can't be spitting in anybody's faces.
Please don't.
Next up is a singles match. Edge is going to get a win over Matt Hardy by technical knockout, just under 5 minutes. Before I get into the match, the storytelling here was phenomenal because it was based on real life. Everybody knows the story. Lita and Matt Hardy were a couple. Hardy got hurt. Then Lita and Edge had an affair, and then they ended up being together.
Edge was still married at the time, too.
Yeah. Was that with Val Venus' sister? Or is that, yeah.
I believe so, right?
I don't know if that was his first or second wife.
His storyline sister, yeah.
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 No, it was his real sister in real life. Edge married Val Venus' sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her last name was.
I think you're thinking the Shamrock thing with Ryan Shamrock.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Right. WWE and siblings,
Yeah.
But anyway, how Paul Burchill and Katie were together, but they were brother and sister.
Yeah. So, also, it's not like the real brothers between Undertaker and Kane, but anyways.
So Alana Morley and Edge were married from 01 to 04. And then Lisa Ortiz and Edge were married from 04 to 05. Okay,
so he was married to his second wife at that time.
Yeah, not Val Venus' sister. No.
Yeah. So that it's a legendary or infamous story in the wrestling business. I give Matt Hardy kudos for going through with the storyline because that to take that something so like hurtful on a personal level and able to perform, like, I don't know, because it's got to be hard when he probably legitimately wanted to beat up Edge and knowing that he had a fake beat up Edge instead. Like, that's got to be hard. I wish this match went a little bit longer. I don't know if the finish was planned. I've read kind of various outcomes of this, but there was a technical knockout. I don't know if Matt Hardy got hurt the hard way there, or busted up the hard way. So I would have thought originally this match would have gone a little bit longer. So it wasn't the greatest wrestling match per se, but the storytelling here was excellent.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. The whole story with the three of them, when you have a real story like that and you're invested, the fans can feel that. You can feel it to this day. Like I remember saying that in the group chat, like kudos to Matt Hardy for not really like hurting Edge. Like, I mean, Tim said, he probably wanted to.
You said it Wednesday afternoon because when Tim was saying that, I was scrolling through. I'm like, going to that exact same. Yeah, Wednesday at 12:04. You said, I give props to Edge. I give props not hurting Edge.
Yeah, like legit hurting Edge. Yeah, like all it takes is like, hey, I'm gonna hit you with this chair, wink, wink, and then wham, you pull a Dwayne Johnson knocking Mankind's heads off his fucking shoulders, and you're like, holy shit, like okay, well, but it goes to show you the level of professionalism that Matt Hardy has to the business too, because they knew they had something there, and it was a personal situation that a lot of people can relate to. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, not just wrestling fans, that have had a spouse or a girlfriend or a boyfriend cheat on them. Like it's relatable no matter what. And something like that is so, it's not like some of these storylines that like nobody can relate to. You know what I mean? This is an everyday occurrence happening to thousands of people worldwide, finding out that their significant other is cheating on them with someone who they thought was a friend. Like this happens a lot. And it just, plus with the emotion of it, you can't fake that. It's a real thing. And the storytelling was great. And yeah, it's too bad. We'll never really know what really happened with that match, but it's too bad that it was so short.
You know, I think that's kind of what it was. It was Vince said, both of you go out there, don't kill each other, but if you have to work stiff, you have to work stiff. And probably went out there, got their aggressions out, you know, because this has been boiling over for at least 2.5 months, because they signed him like days before his 90-day no-compete was up, because they were afraid he was going to go to TNA with his brother. Like they were like, crap, you know, Jeff's already over there, so if we let Matt go, they're just going to have the Hardy Boys in TNA, and like we're not going to be able to capitalize on that. So they brought him back because the crowds were literally, every time Edge was on the mic, they would chant, "We want Matt," because Matt was very vocal. This is why he was fired. He was very vocal on social media about, even back then, like MySpace and YouTube, like Amy cheated on me with my best friend and blah, blah, blah. So they fired him because he was, you know, Edge was the guy they were pushing to be the star. So they were like, nope, you're gone. Crowd, basically says, we want Matt. They bring him back. And like you both said, like Roland said, kudos for him for being able to, like you said, be professional, be the consumer professional, not destroy Edge. And the fact that they worked together many times after that, and they can be cordial, shows that they were both able to, maybe bury the hatchet, because there was a lot of bad stuff. And trust me, Rebby's aired a lot more dirty laundry if you've followed her social medias on stuff that's happened.
Well, on that same note, on a more humorous note, I thought it was kind of funny because in the video package before the match, Matt alluded to like how Edge ruined Matt's chance to have a family. And I just thought it was kind of ironic because now with Reby, he has like 125 kids now. So
clearly he has no trouble reproducing.
No. All right, moving along. We have a ladder match for the custody of Dominic Mysterio next. That is a real thing. It is Rey Mysterio going to get a win over Eddie Guerrero in 20 minutes. This is another good telling storyline. I mean, controversial, even for back then at that time, I would think. It is, they had the thing where Eddie said that Dominic is not the son of Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio kind of even admitted that he was Eddie's son, but he was raising him in the feud. So I mean, so you have a lot of emotion behind this match, which always makes the match better. And you have two, Hall of Fame talents in this ring. So the match was awesome. It was a really great ladder match.
Vicky, where's Vicky?
Where the fuck is Vicky?
Yeah. I like heel Eddie Guerrero here. I thought he played the character well, and obviously Ray's defending his son. So yeah, it was an excellent ladder match. I think the placement could have been a little bit better. I don't know if this really needed to go fourth. I think maybe
this should have opened the show.
This should have opened it probably. I would have think. I don't know. I think it was the placement. I think was kind of weird, but the match itself was phenomenal.
Yeah, it started off a little sloppy. I will say it was definitely one of those matches that took a few minutes to really get going. There was some sloppy ladder spots by both guys that were kind of just not. But once they got going, you can't. Again, two guys that are lifelong friends that have competed with and against each other, and you can't fake that. You have chemistry, and there's no way to fake that, and it shows. In the ring. Like I said, it was a little bit sloppy at first, but a lot of it had to do with the ladder, the third component. And, I don't understand why we don't have more of this with social workers nowadays, just saying, fuck it, we'll put their thing on a pole. And whoever gets there first wins. I mean, how else can you decide who gets to father or be the father of a child? Like, it's fair to me.
Maury Povich is a guest referee.
Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, whoever.
Like, who on the writing team was still like rooting for Vince Russo? Because this is like such a Vince Russo match idea. Like, I agree with you, Tim. It's a very cringy storyline, but the match just told the better story because they knew each other. They were best friends. Dominic really is Eddie's son. We talk about. He even looks like him nowadays. Like,
growing out that mullet,
and he's kind of a wrestler. So
yeah, he's close. Yeah,
I mean, I do think it's funny though when we joked earlier about the whole Vicky spot, like Vicky, wake up, please get out here. Like,
yeah,
it was just hilarious because she defended herself recently. Her version does make sense. She said that she was supposed to come out, but Ray, she didn't know they were gonna improvise with Ray and Eddie in the ladder spot where he like put the ladder over him. So she's like, I didn't want to hurt Ray, but I guess Eddie wanted her to do it no matter what. So that's why she waited until that spot. So that's why he was so frustrated. So I thought it was kind of cool.
And then Eddie almost blows his knee out coming off the friggin'
like the way he lands.
Yeah, it's like, oh Jesus.
And you can tell he's stalling for time when he's holding the briefcase. Like,
and then he gets back on the ladder too. I'm back on the ladder.
And he sold it well too. Like, he sold it as like he's frustrated. He can't do that. He's frustrated. Like, and the commentators helped cover for it because watching it live, you didn't know that. It was after when they amped up the audio. He was like, "Where the fuck is Vicky?" But
he's laying on the mat holding his fucking knee. He's like, "Where the fuck is Vicky?" It's like, he just blew his knee out because he fell off the friggin' cable when he wasn't supposed to.
I know Ray Mercier, he regards this like his favorite match. I definitely think it's probably one of my top 5 Eddie Guerrero matches, just because he was such his character in his wrestling in this match. And it's great too. It's kind of sad, it's his last SummerSlam because this is the year he passes. But if you kind of want to see like a good Eddie Guerrero, if you want to see like how he could be a good heel, this is a good match to watch. His storytelling in the ring, and just him and Ray, just their chemistry, like they worked beautifully together. So it's definitely a match to check out. I think it's highlight of the show so far.
Definitely. Next up, we have a singles match for Kurt Angle's Olympic medals. Kurt Angle is going to get a win over Eugene with Christy Hemme in about 4.5 minutes. This is a pure comedy match. Eugene won the Olympic medals in a Kurt Angle invitational segment where he lasted 3 minutes with Kurt Angle. So, there's a little bit of backstory here. Kurt Angle getting his revenge. It was a good match. Couple false finishes with Eugene hitting like the stunner and the rock bottom and stuff like that throughout the match. But you knew Kurt was going to win. Not much of a match here. While we're talking about this on a kind of a sad note, the inspiration for the Eugene character passed away a few days ago. So condolences to him and his family. But yeah, I mean, this is just it's a comedy match. And Kurt Angle, I don't think he gets enough credit for his comedy in wrestling. Like he's this badass in the ring, and that's undoubtable. But he's pretty funny too when he's given the opportunity. So it worked. They did work well together here.
Well, and they start the whole presentation off with Christy Hemme showing her clam to everybody. She gets on fucking. I made Mongo spit his food out. she gets on Eugene's shoulders and she grabs one leg and she's like, "Hey," and everybody's like, a lot going on there. Even Eugene's like, but yeah, it's weird that, you see Christy and even Jerry Lawler's like, how come he gets a cheerleader? Like, what the heck? But yeah, so it was, it definitely, like Tim said, you appreciate what Angle was able to do in spots like this where he wasn't going to be the main event. He wasn't going to be wrestling for a title. He wasn't going to be wrestling a 20-minute classic. But he got the point across, and the best part about it at the end too is when the referee tried to hand him his medal. He's like, "No." He's like, he makes him like swaps him away. He's like, "Get that away from me."
He gets on the chair and does the ceremony and stuff. Yeah.
But the referee tried to hand it to him, or no, the timekeeper tried to hand it to him or whatever, and he was like, "Get the thing away from me!" Like, no, the referee has to put the medal on me again, like I won it because I just want it back. So,
no, I agree with you. It was not really much to talk about. It was just more of a segment, but like you both said, it showed Kurt Angle's like dickish heel, comedy heel. Because that was very underrated. Like from 2001 to like 2005, he kind of transformed from like goofy to kind of like a serious heel to like he's gonna be the wrestling machine in about a year and show up in TNA. So we're about to get him on our TNA episodes, which is kind of funny because we're covering him
now. Our next match is between Randy Orton and The Undertaker. Orton's going to get the win, just over 17 minutes. This is a really solid match. This was young Randy Orton here with his old entrance music.
Legend killer.
The legend killer gimmick, stuff like that.
Yeah, none of this stupid thing.
Yeah. But this was an awesome match. Just the chemistry these two had in the ring was phenomenal. They told a great story. I kind of like the finish here where there's kind of a fan gets in the ring and distracts the Undertaker. Orton hits an RKO, gets the win. It is then revealed that it's Cowboy Bob Orton. It's the guy under the mask, which he's kind of struggled taking that friggin' mask or whatever it's called off. But this is that was a good moment, and I like the finish. It was a good match. That will set up to the famous casket handicap match between the two, where they light the casket on fire and stuff like that. So, but this was an underrated match. I don't think a lot of people talk about when they talk about Orton and Undertaker, but I thought this was a really good one.
By God, that's Bob Orton. Yeah, I mean, it was. I like that it was played off very well. That it wasn't anybody we knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did a very good job. Like, hey, even the Undertaker, who doesn't break character much, kind of looked genuinely confused by what was going on. So he sold it so well because, like, even he was like, "What the fuck's going on?" Like, it worked out well because, then it's revealed that it was, after Orton wins, he's like, "Wait, he's fine," and then they reveal it's Bob Orton. But I've never seen the Undertaker sell as well as he does finishing moves for some of the guys that he really likes wrestling. I mean, look at how well he sold the RKO. He got up in the air on his own.
He made it move look devastating.
Yeah, and if he, I mean, look at what he did for Maven. You know what I mean? Clearly, he liked the kid because if he didn't have to do that. I mean, look what he did for Cody Rhodes in his Rumble. He has a spot with him. Cody talks about it to this day that Undertaker, pretty much tells him what to do and more or less gives him the spotlight during that time. So it just goes to show you how much the Undertaker gave back in little ways, just to further a storyline with somebody he enjoyed wrestling.
No, and this was my favorite version of Randy Orton. This is the one that he became a megastar with, the Legend Killer tour. Like, I used to have that shirt, my favorite shirt, but it was just like every legend he's beaten in like the date of his pay-per-view. And this Undertaker feud was great. It also led to a Hell in the Cell Armageddon, which, funny story about that, I had tickets to that with my friend Glenn, and thanks to him, we missed the pay-per-view. So I will call you out, Glenn, because to this day, still chaps my ass a little bit on this one. So I get to my buddy Glenn's house. It's in Providence, Rhode Island, which is probably what, Roland? 2.5 hours from Rochester?
2.5 to 3, depending, yeah.
So I had a really shitty Chrysler New Yorker. And if you don't know what a Chrysler New Yorker is, ladies and gentlemen, it's basically a Buick LeSabre, and it's just a boat. I was, poor 19-year-old kid, so this was a tax return car, which is I bought it at like last tax return. Let's hope to God it can make it to the next tax return kind of thing. So I get to his house and I was like, "Hey, my car doesn't feel like it's driving right. Can we take your car?" And he made up some excuse on why we couldn't take his car. So I was like, "Fine, whatever." So I'll drive. He just doesn't want to drive. So we're getting out of Boston. We've been about an hour through now. And we end up going to Peabody because I take a wrong exit because the way 95 South splits, which is the main route, if you don't stay to the left, you don't stay on 95. You get on 495. So I'd gotten on 495.
Or Route 1, depending like which, because it forks off in two spots where like you said, you have the Gloucester going towards Gloucester 495. Then you also have the split in Peabody, the Peabody area where Sonic and all that stuff is, where Route 1 is too. So either way, like you have to work your way to stay on 95 sometimes. So yeah.
So I ended up getting off by accident. So I was like, "Oh, I'll just turn around this hotel parking lot." I go to turn around. I hear a loud snap as I turn the steering wheel. And then I lose all steering in my car. I go outside and I see ball bearings all under the car. I tore the boot off the axle. So it just completely was gone. So I no longer had steering. So I call my stepfather. He's being a complete douche. He's like, "I'm not coming down to help you. You should have figured this out yourself." I'm like, "Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Love you too." So then Glenn calls his mom's boyfriend. He's coming down. His car breaks down on the way to get us. So now we're down two vehicles.
And this is why when we went to the Rumble that year, we took my car.
Yes, 100%. That is 100% the reason. And it was absolutely insane. We ended up not getting picked up, but my mom eventually made her way down there, and she hates driving. So I love you, Ma Dukes, because she drove down like an hour and a half in the dark, and she hates driving and hates driving in the dark to pick me up and bring us home. And then I had to pay like $500 to get my car towed and like $200. But Glenn's mom's boyfriend, fixed the car for me just for parts in a 6-pack. So that was sweet too. But it's like, I was supposed to be at that, Undertaker. I was supposed to see Hell in the Cell live and in person. Nope. The universe had other plans for me. It kicked me in the nuts. And I just remember like we're only an hour away. This sucks so bad. We just want to get to the show. Screw my car. We were trying to find ways. I didn't care.
Calling cab companies. I would have brought you.
Right? Exactly. Roland's a great cab driver.
Now. Not back then. Not in 2005.
No, we were just young and dumb.
The next match is for the WWE title. It's John Cena going to retain against Chris Jericho in about 15 minutes. This was a solid match. This is still kind of green John Cena here. He's been around for 2.5, 3 years at this point. But I thought Chris Jericho really pulled out a good match with Cena here. I thought it was really good. It wasn't too long, which was nice. I think it was the right length for a John Cena match. Hair. Right? There a couple, John or Jericho had the Walls of Jericho in for a while. Cena eventually hits the FU at the time, gets the 1, 2, 3 and retained. But I thought it was a solid match.
It shows me how much I hated that stupid spinner belt too.
Oh, I hate that
thing. You see it afterwards. It's like, you're a dipshit. Like, but yeah, it was a solid match. I think people don't give credit to John Cena enough for the ability to wrestle that he did have. I know as he got a little bit older, he kind of slowed down and turned into almost like Hogan, where he had like 5 moves, and that was pretty much it. But every now and again, he'd shock people and be like, "Wow, he had a pretty good wrestling match." It's like, to be fair, John Cena wasn't a bad wrestler. He really wasn't. He wasn't.
People got sick of the gimmick.
Yeah. He wasn't. Bryan Danielson. He wasn't. The lights of Claudio Castagnoli or anybody like that. But he was a very solid wrestler. And this kind of showed it. The match he had, it was a wrestling match. It wasn't a brawl or, a falls count anywhere or whatever. It was a wrestling match, and it was a solid wrestling match. And
it was for the championship. And they put on a championship match because Jericho's a legit contender, because this is only a couple of years removed from his first return. And he was actually on the way out. Like, this is when he would leave for like a year, take his little sabbatical. before he came back.
Was this when he was Moon Goose McQueen still?
Yeah, he was kind of in between, but yeah, he left for a little while. And then
I believe this is like leading up to the segment where Bischoff fires him and he gets like carried away, right? Kicking and screaming and stuff.
Yeah, he gets fired like the next thing because he like legit signed an extension to work with Cena because he was supposed to work with Carlito, but then he's like, no, I want to work with Cena, put Cena over. So I only know because I think he told the story once in his podcast. So here's why I kind of know it. But yeah, it's cool because he was like on his way out before he came back. I think he literally came back next year, SummerSlam, I believe. But yeah, that's when he came back with like the super short, like business suit Jericho. That's how that kind of started. Because this was the tail end of the Sameless Y2J. So it's like this is when he started like reinventing himself every time he left and came back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was nice that he put over Cena. And I agree with Roland. When John Cena wanted to, he could turn it on. And when he was younger, like 2004 to like 2009, he had some bangers of matches. And even when he got older, him and AJ Styles at the Rumble is still probably one of my all-time favorite matches with him.
Yeah. Next up is a no-holds-barred match for the World Heavyweight title. Batista is going to retain against JBL in 9 minutes. Glad they kept it short. I wasn't really invested in this match. I know it's a title match and everything, but I'm not the biggest fan of both of these guys. I mean, I respect what they've done, but I don't really want to. I mean, I don't know. It's just match didn't do anything for me, so I'm glad they kept it short.
Yeah, I mean, I was never really a JBL fan. His character was, what it was, and the daddy Warbucks. Look at me. I have all this money. It's like, well, to be honest, Justin Hawk Bradshaw, like we don't care. It's just, and I get at the time they needed heels. He was a credible wrestler, and he took that next jump to the main event scene. And this character, at least it was believable. Like, you're not going to have the Justin Hawk Bradshaw version, the APA version of Bradshaw as your champion contender. Like, he had to change something. So credit to him for that. But like, yeah, same kind of thing. I was never really the biggest JBL fan. I liked Batista. He was entertaining, but he was very one-dimensional. It was just kind of like a Brock Lesnar type from just go, almost like a hybrid Warrior Brock Lesnar type. Like where it's short, sweet bursts of a match. He has his spine buster and his power bomb, Batista bomb, and then they go home. Like, it's just very similar styles. Kind of like I said, the hybrid
of Goldberg.
Like a hybrid of like a Goldberg, Lesnar, and Warrior all kind of mixed together. Like, and every now and again, Batista would surprise you and have like a really good match, and you'd be like, wow. Like, same kind of thing with Cena. You're like, wow, that was actually a pretty good match. But it was few and far between for me also. Like, I wasn't the biggest fan of either one too, but if I had to pick one, it would definitely be Batista over JBL.
I think the only reason I really am any kind of a Batista fan is because I loved Evolution. But it's just, I never liked his wrestling style, so it was never a shot at his character because he's a phenomenal actor, and he could sell. And as he got older, he got better and better.
That storyline where he quit in the middle of the ring in the wheelchair,
yeah,
that was pretty good. He sold that pretty well.
And then even when he came back as Blue Tista for a while, he had that like cocky Hollywood attitude. So like, and then he had to
give me what I want. You're gonna give me what I want.
And then he basically like, hey, that's my retirement match. Like, what a cool way to go out too. Like,
yeah,
losing to your best friend at WrestleMania, which turned out to be Triple H's retirement match too. So if you think about it, Evolution retired together. Yeah, and I think that's kind of cool.
Ric Flair fucked that all up though. He decided to get back in the ring last Sunday. So
but in the universe, that's your Richard Fleer. Since WLA's own the names, that's Richard Fleer, whatever you say his real name. But no, that's a travesty. He retired in 08. So did Shawn Michaels. I don't care about Saudi. That didn't happen either.
I don't care.
What do they call it? It's not canon. It's not canon in my universe.
I don't care about the Saudi match either with fucking Kane and Undertaker and DX either. Like
that mask falling off.
That didn't.
Kane's head fell off.
Yeah. My God, his head's on the floor.
The big head's on the floor.
The big red head's on the floor.
No, but I agree with both of you. I could have cared less about this match, and we knew Batista wasn't losing in his fucking hometown. Like that's ridiculous. And Roland, I'm gonna kind of play off. I have a nickname for JBL that I just created. Thought of play off what you said. We're gonna call him Scrooge McDon't give a fuck because that's basically
yeah.
that's basically what it was.
That's
Like no one really,
McDuck, yeah.
no one gives that he was the wrestling god because he wasn't. Like it's just he was a good heel. He carried the title in a time where they kind of lacked star power, so he kind of lucked out into that run.
He was the Diesel of that era.
100%. He is the ruthless aggression Diesel. That's the perfect example.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that he, his wrestling ability wasn't terrible. It was just his character. I think he was trying too hard to be the character. That once he went to commentary after that character he was way better than the character he was in the ring when he was JBL. You know what I mean? Like he still, when he was at commentary and stuff, he was still that cocky kind of heel here and there. Like he'd say certain things kind of like Jerry Lawler would from time to time too. But yeah, it's almost like JBL's like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it on 11 or 12. And they're like, no, if you just do it 8, it'd be fine. Like you can just tone it back a little bit and don't try so hard.
Do you think he sold his limo to Alberto Del Felon? Do you think he sold his limo to him?
I mean, maybe.
Because like I feel like all they did was just snap the horns off and stick a different license plate down. It was the same white limo, and it's just the only cool thing I liked about JBL when he was the heel is when he made the money rain. Like he's like one of the first ones to do that. Sorry, Young Buck fans. JBL did his piece of the money
Super
first.
Kick Party.
But yeah, I think I've seen better JBL matches, and I've definitely seen better Batista matches. And I kind of feel like this was also a fuck you. Like, hey, we're not main eventing, so we don't really give a shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the other thing too. Like you have to give credit to guys like Cena and Jericho going into this, knowing that it's not even about them remotely. Like it's about Hogan and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
it's about Eddie and Ray. It's not about the title.
You sandwiched your world titles yet?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't even about the titles because no one really was invested in the titles that much because the Jericho thing was kind of done at short notice, really, and nobody cared about JBL that much. And here you are with four of the biggest characters in the business between Eddie, Ray, Hogan, and Shawn.
Well, and you also had the build up, not to jump too far ahead, but you had the build up to Shawn Michaels and Hogan. That was absolutely epic with, the whole fake Larry King. Sorry, let me go. What's his name?
You almost said Larry the Cable Guy.
I know. Oh my God. I think Mercy is it Larry King? Is that the guy's? Okay.
Yes.
When he went on dressed as Hogan, like when he did all that and he did the promos that Hogan get all butthurt about, like your promos went too far, brother. Like it was a great build-up. And I think that kind of overshadowed because I felt like the whole pay-per-view, and they're on the cover too, like you said, Roland, it was centered around Hogan coming back for his real last match, which wasn't his real fucking last match. That was supposed to be a trilogy.
Speaking of last matches,
right?
That weren't.
And it was supposed to be a trilogy too, wasn't it? Wasn't it supposed to be like they were supposed to do a best of 3, but like Hogan didn't want to put him over more than once. So like, and Shawn Michaels was like, "No, fuck you! Like, I'll put you over." Like they were supposed to go with best of 3, but then Hogan whined and said, "Doesn't work for me," and he had creative control, so he squashed it. So that's kind of what led up to the antics in this match. That's obviously what the rumors and innuendo they say.
Yeah,
I know it'd be nice to really hear from Shawn's perspective about this, like when he doesn't have anything to lose, like to actually say what he really thinks about this, because he's talked about it briefly from time to time, and he's still wearing the corporate hat. He doesn't want to say anything that he shouldn't say, and
he says, like I was unprofessional. Like he blames himself, but he's like he doesn't say Hogan's a fucking piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, so basically we kind of got into it already, but the main event was Hogan and Shawn Michaels. Hogan's going to get the win, about 21 and a half minutes here. We mentioned this last week, Shawn really made Hogan look good here. He sold for him a lot.
He oversold.
Oversold, yeah.
Which is what makes it funny to watch back.
Yeah, but I thought it was good. When I saw this on paper going into watching it, I'm seeing Hulk Hogan in a 22-minute match. I'm like, oh, geez. But, but I'm like, Shawn Michaels really made it work. Yeah, it was a little overboard with the selling, but I think it made the match work. Hogan did his typical hulking up to win the match because Hogan must pose. But, I give a lot of credit to, both guys, but Shawn in particular here for making this match good. I think they put on a great show, and it's a classic case of sending the crowd home happy. But yeah, I definitely, this is a lot better than I thought it was going to be when I saw Hogan wrestling for 22 minutes on paper.
So in that ladder match of Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, they say that Shawn Michaels went out there and had a match with a ladder. Well, in this match, Shawn Michaels went out there and had something that was almost as stiff as a ladder in Hulk Hogan at 432 years old. Hogan, the only thing slower than Hogan here was Flair the other Sunday night. Like this, Hogan is on. You have a lawnmower that has 2 reverse speeds, like reverse 1, reverse 2. Like he was on reverse 1. Like he wasn't even going forward; he was going backward, just really slow. But it's about the presentation. It's about the character. It's about the Hulkamania, all that stuff. And I think to some degree, whether Shawn wants to admit it or not, it's a little bit of jealousy to a degree because
I know it was.
And Shawn, unfortunately never got to that level of, the Hulkamania. Like wrestling wise, he did. Character wise, he just couldn't get there because there was only one Hulk Hogan. And that's coming from a Shawn Michaels fan. Like Hogan, the character Hulk Hogan transcended the business and still does to this day, really. And Shawn Michaels might be the best in-ring performer of all time. So you had 2 of the best people for the business. You had one of the best characters in Hogan, and even Shawn's character was still really good, but his wrestling work is where it was at. And when Shawn came back from his back injury in 2004, or was it 2002? It was 2002. Yeah, when he came back in 2002, everybody thought it was a one-off. Everybody's like, and then here we are in 2005. He's still, he retires in 2008 or 2009, whenever it was.
08,
No, he retired Flair in 2008.
Right.
2010, I think he retired.
Yeah, because it was, I would imagine it would be Earth. But either way, so like at this point, like after WrestleMania in 1996, nobody thought, or 98 rather, nobody thought he was ever going to wrestle again. And here you are in 2005, 3 years removed from his return that was supposed to be a one-off, and he's out there selling for Hulk Hogan, flipping around and everything else. So it's a gift that keeps on giving in that, if you're a wrestling fan, because like I said, you rewind to 1998, you thought his career was over because that's what they were telling you. Nobody was coming back from back injuries like what he had. So
I like that, he's gone on record and said that he purposely would annoy Hulk Hogan all day. And he would just like walk by saying little insults and like doing petty little shit things backstage because he was legit pissed about the whole storyline being scrapped for Hogan. And like you guys both just covered, him overselling, like the one part where he's getting kicks to the chest and he's like flying up over the top turnbuckle. Or when he gets like hit, he like stands up, tends to like punch.
Boot. Big boot where he lands on his back, gets up, flips back over, and then or when he falls out of the ring and lands on his feet and then flips over and rolls down the entranceway.
it's one of the if you ever want to see the best oversell, this and then the one where he's with Triple H, where Triple H is pretending to like fall over and taking forever. Like Shawn Michaels is involved some of the best over.
Shawn kind of and Triple H was just like.
So it was absolutely hilarious, and knowing his hatred and like you said, jealousy for Hogan, it made it funnier. And like Roland said, he's talked about it in the past, but it's always the corporate spin. Like, well, I was just a little bitter, and I was just blah blah blah, and I was a little unprofessional, but I was just trying to entertain myself. Like what he's nice to saying is he's a piece of shit. He's in my spot. I should be him. I gave my back for this business too, so I'm going to embarrass your ass in the ring. Which is what he was going for. He was trying to make him look like a fool. And it kind of did, too, because you can see Hogan, the first point he starts doing, he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
brother. What he does the like he said the Larry King thing when he's like brother.
'Cause I guess Hogan was all heard about all that shit. Like he was about that, and then about him bringing up Linda, and that's why Hogan says he didn't want to do the 3 matches, but it's because he knew Shawn Michaels would embarrass him, and he didn't want to, and then he also want to do the job. So I think it was that feud that they should have just said, Hogan, shut the fuck up, just do your job. Like we're paying you millions of dollars. Have 2 matches with him. You can win SummerSlam because it's SummerSlam. Shawn Michaels win at Survivor Series. Like you could easily booked it into something where Shawn Michaels was like, "Then I want my match. You know, I want a wrestling match. I want a submission match." Like, he could have done anything. I want a Iron Man match. Not that God forbid we ever subject ourselves to that, but just saying, like you could easily. But Shawn Michaels didn't want to drop to him twice either because that would have killed his momentum. Because this is when he was really riding that momentum high. He had that feud Triple H, and now he's going to get back into that singles run. He's going to start heading towards the Ric Flair run in a few years. So this was when he was at his peak, and you can't have him lose to Hogan twice. That devalues his character more. But overall, I'd say this pay-per-view didn't really age as well as I thought it would. I'd probably give it a solid 5.5, 6.
I was going to say somewhere around 6 too, to be honest. Yeah, it definitely didn't, like you said, the names and stuff on it. You're like, wow, this would be great, and then you watch it, and like you said, it just wasn't. It didn't quite live up to the hype that I had for it too. Maybe I had my bar set a little bit too high, knowing some of the matches on the card. But
yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher than you guys. I was around a 7 here, just because I thought the ladder match was really good. I know it's a little bit sloppy in spots, but I also really liked the Orton and Undertaker match. I thought that was a really good match. The Cena Jericho match was good, and I enjoyed the main event. So I thought there was a lot of good storytelling and a lot of decent matches. So we'll go a little bit higher. I'll give it a 7.
What about the Eugene Kurt Angle match?
Nah, that's all right. I mean, for what it was, they did what they wanted to do. They kept it short, so
it wasn't quite as short as the Benoit Orlando Jordan match.
No. Excuse me. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
So Tim's like dying here, folks.
Yeah. Well, Tim's trying to do the old radio play it off that I don't have.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a cough button here.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Mongo?
I was just going to say, quickly, since we have a few minutes before we wrap up, because I know we're done covering SummerSlam, to kind of go back to the CM Punk thing, because I kind of figured it was apropos. I think it's absolutely hilarious that people are getting worked up into a storm right now because they don't understand CM Punk's gimmick or his MO, and I think this all connects to MJF. And I had this kind of like conspiracy theory type thought. Before the whole MJF issues with his contract started leaking out, when's the last major like AEW storyline stuff or anything you really heard leaked? You didn't really hear a lot of stuff leaked to the dirt sheets. So I almost feel like Tony is kind of smarter than people give him credit for a lot of things. And it was probably like, hey, I know you guys got close relationships with those dirt sheet writers. I don't care, but like utilize them, leverage them, get some stuff out there. Maybe, and then MJF stuff. I'm not saying it wasn't real because obviously he was getting underpaid. But then when Tony realized that, like, oh, they're eating this up. Hey, tell me to get a plane ride out. Let's fuck with them a little bit. Like maybe they fixed it. He's like, let's fuck with them a little bit. You get those stories out. You get that stuff spun. Then you can create. These work shoots. So CM Punk goes out there. He realizes he's coming back after his injury. People are loving Moxley as champion. You can't have a face versus face like rah, yeah, John Moxley, CM Punk, yeah, friends. So what do? You turn him heel. So and what's the quickest way you turn him heel? Have him call it Hangman in his fucking home state. And I feel like that's what people miss the mark on. They're like, oh, he's being a dick. Yeah, that's what you do as a heel. Like, I guess I don't understand how people forgot that if a wrestler is a heel, you're not supposed to cheer them. You're not supposed to like them. You're supposed to hate them. Phil knows that everyone calls him a whiny little bitch and petty, so he's like, fine, I'll be fucking petty and a whiny little bitch on TV. Who's to say he didn't manufacture the drama? And then Tony said, hey, why don't you send a text saying that you're pissed off at Punk? Hey, John Silver, you want to match the next week in Dynamite? Send a text to Sean Ross Sapp that, Hangman's pissed off at Punk. All it takes is one text. and then they misinterpret it. They spin all these reports. I'm not saying it's like a conspiracy theory, but I feel like I can see AEW working the dirt sheets to get the eyes out there, or letting things leak strategically. Like the whole MJF suspended and they removed him because of Warner Directive. I don't think these dirt sheet writers have a fucking source inside Warner Discovery. It's a $1 billion corporation. They're not going to let shit like that leak out. I work in a $1 billion corporation. I completely understand this. The shit you're not even allowed to email in now. It's all monitored and tracked. So they're not going to leak stuff out to Sean Ross Sapp like, hey, yeah, this is what we're doing on our network TV because that could kill their income. So the source is going to be AEW. Let's just feed the information we want to feed. Hey, Warner told us to remove it all. You could easily do that and work them all. So people, I think, need to realize that it's still wrestling. It's still a TV show that you can be all pissed off, but don't believe everything you read on these dirt sheets. They're speculation for a reason. I think we all get wrapped up too much in them and like Twitter and all that stuff. So people are so first to jump on a story that they post all this stuff. It's like, do you ever think that they're also not spinning what they want because they know you're so invested in reading the dirt sheets? That's just my little weird Mongo conspiracy theory rant that I thought about earlier.
Well, it makes.
I think
sense.
I followed most of it.
Well, again, like I said to you guys, why would they give away Moxley and Punk on cable TV?
It's going to end wonky. Like something's got to happen. Like that's the only thing because otherwise it doesn't make sense. And if somehow the reports are true and he really is pissed off and you let 2 live mics go up, then Tony's an idiot. But I don't think he's that dumb. I don't think he'd risk his TV contract renewal in a year or two by letting, my friends are going out and talking to the mic. They'll told me they'll be fine. Like, even they're saying the wrong things. Like, I don't think he's that stupid. He watched wrestling in the early 90s and early 2000s. He saw the Brian Pillman work. He saw the ECW. He saw how you work the crowd. He saw what heels do. He saw when even the outsiders, WCW, without the internet, we thought that WWF was invading WCW because that's what they worked you into. They took something real and they kind of made it work. Can't tell me they don't do that stuff again. And with Triple H empowering WWE, I think we're going to get more of that kind of more blended reality stuff because that's what's going to work to get the hardcore wrestling fans more interested. Because there's so much spoilers, so much speculation, so many storyline leaks, you lose interest. But if you start blending that reality like that, there's backstage drama, but it's really a work.
Yeah.
Just my weird Mongo thoughts. Sorry.
Well, anyways, so next week for you guys, we're actually going to do another SummerSlam. We're going to go back 5 years, actually, from 2005. We're going to cover SummerSlam 2000. On paper, it seems like a good card. You have a TLC match between Edge and Christian, the Hardys and Dudleys.
That's a banger.
You have
triple threat match.
Main event, The Rock, Triple H, and Kurt Angle.
Undertaker and Kane. Kane's
on the card. A lot of good matches there. So looking forward to covering that. Follow us on our socials at Triple WPAP podcast. Anything else before we get on here, guys?
Road Dogg and X-Pac.
Stink Face match, the Cad and Terry.
Yeah.
No, just thanks for listening, everyone. Keep, liking, hitting the review button, follow button, however you want to do it. The analytics are showing that you guys are really liking it again. And apparently, like, the Hush Money in the Bank so far has been popular, but then people went back to it. Now, In Your House, Canadian Stampede has been surging. So it's cool to cover these different episodes because you guys apparently like to go back. And that's why we like to try to have a living library because, we may not be the big podcasters like some of the Kurt Angles or the Conrad type podcasts, but we at least want to try to do an episode as we can. That's why I appreciate you guys being so flexible and doing this tonight because it's nice to put an episode out when we can because we don't want to have to sorry, there's no episode this week. Here's some best stuff that we put together because
Roland and I center our schedules around your schedule. So,
No, that's not what I mean. But I mean, I appreciate you guys being flexible and, let me still be a part of it. Is what I mean.
The best part is he thinks this is the episode we're going to air. Mongo and I are recording tomorrow, or Tim and I are recording
yeah, right.
And this episode's not even going to air. We're just doing this. No. So that way you see it.
Tomorrow's episode is really all going to be about Mongo.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Tomorrow's the bonus episode that's going to air. We're just going to friggin' blast the shit out of Mongo. We're going to be like, yeah, that guy
Not with paintballs, obviously. You know.
No, yeah, we don't want him to eat those. But yeah,
Do you have blue raspberry?
I don't think the colors are supposed to be flavors. I think it's just.
You don't know the fucking flavors of Gatorade. We go by the colors.
No, I know what they
Only
are.
psychopaths.
Raspberry's not a color.
That's berry. You have berry in your hands.
I do. You scared me that you know the flavors.
And then this blue one right here.
Is it Arctic blue? I can't read it. Oh,
Cool
blue.
something. Cool blue.
See, it's literally a color.
I only know that's berry because I get that's one of the ones I get too. So
Hey, Powerade, sponsor us if you want.
that's Gatorade. No, that's
Our Gatorade.
Now
Powerade,
Gatorade's not going to
yeah.
sponsor us.
I do have Powerade right here too, though, just in case. Well,
we don't
either
discriminate.
one of
Whoever
you,
wants to
either one of
pay
you
us,
guys,
we'll bet
they're
you
both blue.
Exactly. Whoever wants to pay us, let us know. We don't discriminate.
Blue bottles and Gaga.
Maybe
Blue
they'll come
bottles.
together. They'll be Power Gator.
Yeah, blue
There
bottles.
we go.
Blue bottles and Gaga.
That could be the other
Blue balls
shit,
and
too.
Gatorade.
Yeah, blue bottles and Gaga.
Well, on that note, we probably should head on out of here. Again, socials at Triple WPAP Podcast. We'll be back next week with SummerSlam 2000. We got 10 seconds before this is not a Linda episode. So until next week, I'm Tim Kirk.
I'm Rolling Fewless.
And I'm Mongo.
And this is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
You believe we
hope I don't
recorded
get
this
that
show on a Thursday for Mongo? Like,
Hope I don't. Appreciate you guys. Hope I don't get let on.
I hope you're all having a nice day.